Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stockwatch, and let's get ready for the week ahead, July 10th through July 14th. Well, the July 4th week passed, the shortened week, and it was slow as expected. There was a bit of choppiness in the markets, but for the week, the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the SPY ended up fractionally. On Friday, the jobs number came out, and it was up 222K. So the economy was adding jobs, and on Friday, the Dow Jones was up 94 points. The Nasdaq Composite was up 63 points. The SPX was up 15 points for the day, Friday. Let's take a look at some of the charts of the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the SPX and SPY, and we'll go ahead and do that right now. So the Dow Jones, we have this all-time high of 21,562.75. And we are back and hanging around the 20 SMA. So not much damage done on the SPY. We're just kind of in this consolidation, moving sideways, and holding the 20 SMA. We remain above the 50 SMA. And, you know, the market did push up on Friday. Dip buyers have come in during the week. And we'll see what they want to do for next week. So it seems to me the bulls have the slight edge going into next week with all the news with Korea and whatnot hitting the markets, and it being the slow week. The market's held up pretty well. The Nasdaq Composite, still the weaker one in the markets, came up to the 50 SMA. The yellow line you see here, this is a daily chart you're looking at, and you see that the 50 SMA is at 61.65. Came up to that and pulled back. So this has yet to prove itself. There was some bounce in some of the big names like Amazon, Google, but not enough to put us over the 50 SMA on the Nasdaq Composite. For the SPY, we're trying to hold this 240, 240.50 area, and we do have the high up here around 245. So we're in this channel and moving sideways. So if they can't, as they say, you know, break down this 240 level, you would think that we're going to start pushing back up. We are holding above the 50 SMA, and so this was kind of where the breakout was, this 240. So this is the most watched number. You see, we hit it here, we pulled back from it, we hit it here, and we pulled back, and finally we broke through that 240. And we've been testing it quite a few times and have been in that range of 240. So they're trying to hold this. And as long as bulls can hold this 240, they remain slightly in charge. Some other markets we'll take a look at. We'll take a look at the utilities that didn't fare as well this week. And we'll go ahead and do that with the actually the XLU. And as you can see, you know, we had quite a few days down on the XLU, and an attempt to try to push up over the 5. EMA here, this dotted line you see, and no go on that. Some other markets I want to take a look at, but we'll also look at the dollar. The dollar, after some, you know, weakness here, a push back up, and then now we've come off the lows at this 95.50. So the number here on the dollar to watch is this 95.50, and we'll see if we can get back over the 10 SMA on the daily chart here. As far as the gold stocks go, gold miners back here at this support. So gold not holding up too well, but this 21 spot on GDX is pretty important. It's held a couple of times, so we'll see if they can hold it again. In the juniors, same thing, you know, rolled over. We're below the 50 SMA, so we'll see if they want to hold this $30 area on the GDXJ. Gold itself breaking down below support here at 116. So we're below that 116 now. We do have a low back here in March, and that low is 114.03. So we'll see if they want to hold this 114.03 area for GLD. Some other markets that we should take a look at is this high yield corporate bond, and this is holding the 150 SMA. Now, you know, it's pulled back off the highs. But there are some dip buyers coming in here at this 87.50 area. We did have a high of 89. Back here we held the 200 SMA around, we'll call it 86.50 in that area. So we'll see what they want to do, if they want to retest this 200 SMA and then bounce it off of that. Next thing to take a look at is the IBB, the biotechs, and we'll look at this on the weekly chart real fast. And you see that we had this big push up in the IBB, and we've pulled back, but we're holding above the midway point of this candle, and we'll call it 310. And then below that we have the 303 spot, and that's we'll actually call it 304, and that's the spot that we broke out and over out of all this congestion. So we'll see if they can hold at 310. And then also that 304 spot on the IBB. IWC actually held up pretty good this week. You see it came up to resistance, pulled back, but we're still above the 10 SMA on the weekly. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that on your daily chart, which is we're holding this 88 spot, and we're holding the 20 SMA on the IWC. IWM. We came up to resistance at this 142, 143 spot, and we pulled back to the 50 SMA. So on the IWM, the Russell, we're holding the 50 SMA. We tested it here. We're back above it, but we're still below the 10 SMA on the daily chart. All right, as far as the weekly goes for that, we're holding around the 10 SMA on the weekly and basically consolidating under the highs on the IWM. IYT, the transports, breaking out here. So if you're a Dow theorist, right, transports usually lead the way, and we are breaking out on the IYT to new highs. So that shows strength in the market. So keep that in mind. That's definitely goes towards the bulls. JETS, which is the Jets ETF for the airlines, that's breaking out to new highs, and that's because oil was down so much, the last few weeks. Copper, which had had a good week the previous week, gave back some of those gains, but we still are holding above the 20 SMA on the weekly chart for copper. OIH, which is the oil services, which is names like Schlumberger, Halliburton, Rig, down quite a few days in a row with interim bounces in between, but always making new lows, and we're at lows here. We do have a support coming up, but that's not until about $20, and this is the weekly chart you're looking at on the OIH. And once again, Baker Hughes, Halliburton, Rig, Schlumberger are some of the names in the OIH. The Qs themselves did bounce on the weekly. They held the 20 SMA, and we'll see if they want to continue and take out the high of this hammer. We'll look at it also on the daily chart. You came down to this important, 136 level that held, and now, we're above that previous candle, and we just need to get back over, or try to get back over, the 10 SMA on the daily, but we do have the 50 SMA up ahead, and that number on the 50 SMA is 139.23. So this starts to get better if we can get back over that, 140, 139 on the Qs. The Automation Index ETF, this one is under the 50 SMA, and so we'll see if they want to maybe continue this down to the 100 SMA, the white line you see here, and maybe bounce off that. We'll also take a look at it on the weekly, and we are holding below the 10 SMA on the weekly. Silver had a down week, down about 6% for the week, and so does that mean industry is slowing down? Because silver is used a lot in industrial production. So with the sell-off in this silver, does that mean that we're looking to, maybe see a slowdown in the economy? So this could be something that you want to keep an eye on, especially if we get down to this 13 level to, retest the lows on SLV silver. SLX held the 200 SMA on the weekly chart. This is the ETF for steel. It is trying to get back over maybe this $40 level. Until it does, it's kind of in limbo here. We'll take a look at the daily chart. For the daily chart, we came back up to the 100 SMA and we pulled back, but we still are above the 10 SMA on the daily chart for SLX. But, the buyers came in here around 38. Would like to see it start to get over, this 40 spot on SLX. SMH, after battling here, bulls and bears battling at this 100 SMA, we did turn up and get above the 10 SMA on the daily chart, but we're still below the 50 SMA on this daily chart. and that number on the 50 SMA is 83.85, so we'll call it 84. So you'd like to see the SMH gain back over 84, 84.50. And here's the weekly chart. We did come down to the 20 SMA. You see this range we're in right now. So this 80 number is pretty important for the SMH, and they did bounce it off the 20 SMA. So we'll see what they want to do for that. As far as the SPY itself, on the weekly, we're back above the 10 SMA, and going out to the daily, you see how important this 240, 250 spot is for the SPY. All right, and you see the consolidation and the back and forth trading, and during the summer months here so far, no one really in charge, just dip buyers coming in, trying to protect this 240 spot. TLT for the week, the TLT was down 2% for the week. All right, and this had popped up to that 128 area. Now we're pulling back to the breakout spot, which is around, we'll call it 122.50, 122. We're trying to hold this 20 SMA on TLT, and we'll see what they want to do with that. As far as the daily chart, after a nice run up, we've pulled back to about the midway point of this run up, so we'll see if they want to continue, but we are below the 50 SMA, and maybe going to test the 100 SMA down here at 122. UNG, the nat gas ETF, just looks terrible. It looks like an ADR the way it trades, down, 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 and then a pop up, down again, gapped up, and lost it all again. So there's really nothing going on with the UNG right now. Oil for the week, the USO was down 4% for the week. The UUP, which is the dollar, was up fractionally for the week, but that's trying to hold this 24.50 level on UUP, the dollar. Let's check out the VIX for the week. The week prior we had more volatility. This week we had some volatility, but once again we closed right back near that 11 spot on the VIX. So, with this, I would say, complacency still remains in the market, even with all the news that has been out. So we'll see what they want to do with this VIX. So far, bulls are holding serve. Let's see. We'll go through some of these other ETFs. XBI, which is the biotech. Once again, after this big pop-up, we're holding above, the top of the candle. Trying to get through this 80 spot, and trying to hold, I would say the midpoint around here is around this 75 spot. So we're holding above that 75 spot. On the daily, we're holding above the 13 EMA on the XBI, and this makes up the smaller biotechs. And like we said, the IBB is the larger biotechs. XHB, the home builders, nice bounce off the 50 SMA. We kind of held that area here and around the area here. We held it here, and now we're bouncing up over it. So the XHB, the home builder ETF, maybe trying to clear this, we'll call it 38.75, 38.80, and we'll look at some home builders in future videos over the weekend. Next one up is the XLF. We'll take a look at that. It's holding strong, holding the 5 EMA on the daily chart. As far as the weekly chart goes, we're still actually holding above 25 here. We had a tough time getting through it, but now we're holding above it. And we do have this recent high back in March, and the high was 25.30. So watch that number, 25.30, for the XLF. And let's see if there was any other markets. Well, we'll look at oil too. This is oil, light sweet crude, WTI. Weekly chart down 4% for the week. And we're coming back to that 43 number maybe for another retest. We had bounced, and now we're coming back down. And let's see if they want to hold that 43 level. Here's the daily chart of oil, and you see that 43 level. We had held it here, back here, and we held around that area the last time. They thought we broke it down here, And then we got the push up from the failed breakdown, and this was when people were mentioning, $30 oil, $20 oil, and that didn't happen, so shorts had to come in and cover. But as we talked about in previous videos, we did come up to this 50 SMA around $47, and then couldn't make any more continuation, and we're pulling back from there. Now let's see what they want to do with this 43 spot for the oil. As far as some retail XRT, it just looks terrible as far as that ETF goes on the retailers. Any other indices I wanted to go over? I think I hit most of them, and so we'll move on to some other things. So here's some news that came out during the week. This was that U.S.-South Korea drill during, I think that was July 3rd. So North Korea is still at it, and so Donald Trump is looking for China to handle North Korea. So far, North Korea is ignoring China and Donald Trump and continuing to shoot missiles, and supposedly they have a missile that can go as far as Alaska. So that's something that's disturbing. So we'll see what the market wants to do with that this week. But this is one of the stories that we'll have to keep an eye on for the markets for next week and the weeks to come. Here's the jobs number came out on Friday. 222,000 jobs. We dropped down to 4.3, but from what I'm reading, wages did not go up. But with this strong jobs number, now they're not worried, but perhaps now Yellen can raise rates again towards the end of the year, and there's no wage inflation as of yet. Let's see if as far as the economy adding jobs, it was a strong number. But no wage growth with the jobs number. Next story up at the beginning of the week, Ford, Fiat, and Chrysler sales fall less than expected. GM misses. So that was the U.S. auto sales rose less than forecast in June, extending a soft patch that's characterized this year. And I think for the employment jobs number that came out, I think there was a layoff or a loss of 1,000 auto jobs. So just keep that in mind. So maybe auto stocks are going to continue softening. The next one up is keeps persisting as far as a story, rising on Obamacare repeal. So, I don't think they have the votes yet to get this Obamacare repeal through. And so now if people are saying if the GOP can't get this through, will they be able to get tax reform through? Will they be able to lower corporate taxes? So this is, this has to get passed first. But as it stands right now, pessimism is rising if they're going to have the ability to do it. And this was what I was talking about. Years into the recovery and with full employment, U.S. wages still lag. So, nobody's getting a raise. And that's not good for the economy. I mean, yeah, there's no inflation, but folks are, not getting ahead. They're paying their bills, but they're not getting raises. So let's see. Hourly earnings in June rose just 2.5% on the year and have slowed in the past 2 quarters rather than accelerating, even as workers become scarce due to continued economic strength. So that is not good. All right, so that's going to be something that we're going to have to continue to watch as far as that goes. All right, so we'll get this out of the way, and we will look at some news that came out on Friday after the bell. And some news that came out after the bell. CCCL, China Ceramics appoints new independent director. ITEK announces top-line results for Phase 2. Let's see, what else was there? ITK at 402 was halted on ITEK. YM, let's see, sorry, didn't mean to read that. Let's see what else was here. G20 meeting had started over the weekend. Supposedly Trump's speech in Poland was a good speech, so he gave a very good speech. And GSL Global Ship leases suspends opportunistic secured note offering. Let's see. Over the weekend, we had news in Barron's. They're looking for AVGO, FNSR, LITE to benefit. So positive article out on AVGO, FNSR, LITE in Barron's. They expect oil to make a turnaround by the end of 2017. An analyst from Citi's Eric Lee, an analyst, is taking the bullish side for oil. And let's see, SGEN reports 8.2% stake in IMMU. And here was some news from Trump over the weekend. Trump tells the China leader something has to be done on North Korea. SIGM Form 4 Soros Fund purchased 34,000 shares for SIGM. And I think that was pretty much it. Let's see if there was anything else that I missed. On the iTech I got for you. LC Lending Club cautious investors against potential unsolicited exchange offer from IEG Holdings. MetLife to acquire Logan Circle Partners LP. So that was on MetLife for Friday after the bell. So that's some news after the bell for Friday. And let me take a look and see if there was anything else that I wanted to discuss with you. Remember, stock market is at historical, is historically expensive. And I would say for the indexes, as far as the IWM and things like that, you want to look at each chart and you want to say, are we in limbo? Are we strong? Are we neutral? I would say most of these charts right now, like the IWM, the QQQ, currently we're kind of in limbo in most of them. They haven't given enough weakness to be bearish, and they're not really bullish right now. But this is, what summer doldrum tradings. There's a lot of big money that's away right now. And, the 4th of July, you wouldn't expect too much. And so, that's pretty much most of the indices that we're looking at are pretty much in limbo, either showing bearish as far as oil and things like that, or really bullish as far as the, some of the ETFs that we went over, JETS, SHB. So those are looking, kind of bullish to the bullish side. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the best stocks for the week. And we'll go ahead and do that on weekly charts. First one up is an IPO, DOVA, and that was up 13%. So this is an IPO, biotech IPO, that's really hustling, making new highs. And that one was one of our best stocks for the week, up 13%. KERX, that stock was up 9% for the week on KERX. BGNE, this stock was up 56% for the week. Another biotech stock, AVEO, up 26% for the week. DGLY, name from the past, was up over 35% for the week. VSTM, up 66% for the week on VSTM. PIXY, up 32% for the week on PIXY, and this was a IPO, staffing and outdoor services. ABEO, up 30% for the week, a biotech stock. CNAT, up 13% for the week on CNAT. ARNA, up 14% for the week. RADA, up 22% for the week on RADA. AFMD, up 22% for the week. SORL, this one was up on the week 21% for the week. ZN was up 71% for the week on ZN, oil and gas name. So here's a stock in the oil and gas, and this one is bucking the trend and very strong, up 71% for the week. MDSI up, MDSI? Okay, here we go. MSDI was up 139% for the week. MSDI up 139% for the week. IMUC up 85% for the week. AMD plus 8% for the week. Or actually, I should say up 7% for the week on AMD. And just one of the airlines I wanted to show you was up 5% for the week. AMD had been down. You see, let's look at the daily chart on AMD. There was this selling in AMD, the bounce back, and then it sold off again. And that was because NVIDIA supposedly, they have a chip, made a chip announcement. And but it did bounce back nicely, AMD, but still having trouble here with this around this $14 area on AMD. All right, so that's some of the best stocks for the week. And as I showed you, the last one was AAL, and a lot of the airlines were up for the week, and that's why that JETS, was making new highs for the week, and that's because oil was down. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of the worst stocks for the week. APRN. This one was down 17% IPO for the week, and other companies that want to IPO, may not come forward because they're seeing this action in Blue Apron, APRM. So that might hurt the IPO market. But there were some, biotech stocks and other IPOs that did well for the week. But APRM, just got clobbered. People are just not believing in their story right now. CHKE, this was down 28% for the week. CARA, C-A-R-A, down 12% for the week. Dries, down again for the week, down over 17% on Dries, the shipper. And you see how many reverse splits. I just think this is gonna disappear and go to the pinks or something, or OTC. Next one up is Fred. This was down 26% and heading lower. So we'll see. This one we might want to keep on watch for possible bounce. Anyway, it's down another 26% for the week. EGLT down 34% for the week. MOSY minus 26% for the week. RWLK, this stock was down 23% for the week. Let's see, what else do I have? OCUL down 23% for the week. Mankind down 17%. ORLY down 21%. They had warned on their same-store sales. Composite came in well below guidance, so their same-store sales came in well below guidance. And then BAFA, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch downgraded them to neutral. So this really hit the stock hard, ORLY. WKHS down 23% for the week. Tesla down 13%. Goldman Sachs lowered the price target to 180. Quarter two will be lower. So this was down over 13%. AKS down 9% for the week. NFX, this is one of those oil names, that was down 8% for the week. NE down 6% for the week. WLL down 9% for the week. DVN down 8% for the week. SSRI, silver name, down 7%. AG down 13%. PAAS down 8%. ROD, retailer, Rite Aid down 19, almost 20% on Rite Aid after that merger may not go through with Boots Alliance, Walgreens Boots Alliance. FMSA down 17%. This is part of the oil equipment and services. And last one, another retailer is L Brands, Victoria's Secret, what is it? Not Bed Bath & Beyond, but Body Shop, things like that, down 16% for the week. So it's down from $100 down to $45 on L Brands. And so that's some of the stocks, the worst stocks for the week. And I'll be right back at you with what we're watching for the week ahead. So let's get ready for the week ahead. We'll start off with some earnings for Monday, July 10th. We have HELE, Monday before the bell. We have CUDA, CUDA, and this is cybersecurity play, CUDA, and that comes out Monday after the bell. SLP after the bell. WDFC, which is WD40, and that comes after the bell on Monday, July 10th. Next one up for July 11th, and the earnings for that, Pepsi's coming out before the bell on Tuesday, July 11th. AIR after the bell. Wednesday, we have for earnings, we do have ATD before the before OZRK before the bell, FAST, MSN, before the bell on Wednesday, July 12th. And then we have Thursday earnings, some of the bigger names, CBSH before the bell, Delta Airlines, DAL, SKIS before the bell, after the bell, CCA, that's a home builder for CCA. And then Friday we have some of the banks. The banks are going to be kicking off the earnings also on Friday. JP Morgan, Citigroup, PNC, Wells Fargo. So those names will be coming out Friday before the bell, July 14th. Now we'll get into what's coming up for economic news. 10 o'clock labor market conditions index. So not much there. We do have some Fed speak on Monday at 11:05 p.m. John C. Williams, Fed speak. For Tuesday, we have Fed speak. Lyle Brainerd speaking at 12:30 p.m. 1:20 Fed speak. Neil Kashkari. We do have some Asian economic information coming out Tuesday night, 7:50 p.m. What else do we have? Janet Yellen speaks 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, so this could be very important. MBA mortgage applications. Atlantic Fed business inflation 10 a.m. Then Janet Yellen also at 10 a.m. Will be speaking. More Fed speak. Esther George speaks at 2:15 p.m. So keep your eye on these Janet Yellen. And let's see, we have at 10 p.m. on Wednesday night, Asian China merchant trade balance, 10 p.m. for Wednesday night. German CPI at 2 a.m. Fed speak, Yellen again. I believe this is with either the Senate or the Congress, and this is either the Senate or the Congress. So, but she'll be speaking both of these days at 10 a.m. More Fed speak, Charles Evan at 11:30. We do have the for Thursday the nat gas. Don't forget the petroleum numbers coming out on Wednesday. 10:30. Lyle Brainerd speaks again. Friday, let's see, anything more Fed speak. Robert Kaplan, retail sales, consumer price index, and last but not least, we have the Baker Hughes rig count coming out on Friday at 1 p.m. So keep your eye on this. If there's a bill more rigs, that could bring oil down even more. So there's your economic and Fed speak for the week ahead from Monday, July 10th to Friday, July 14th. As far as conference calls, you see we have HELE, Helena Troy at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. We also have after the bell, 4 o'clock, CUDA, and then WD40 after the bell at 5 o'clock. Let's see what else. Tuesday, We have TV will be on an earnings call, Vox earnings call, 10 o'clock, AIR earnings call, 4:45. And let's see, anything major here, Fast, 10 o'clock a.m. Conference call, that's on Wednesday. And then no conference calls in the evening. Let's see, for the July 13th, Thursday, DRWI conference call 8:30. SKIS 11 o'clock. PGR at 11 o'clock. After the bell, no earnings calls here at Earnings Cast. Friday, JP Morgan at 8:30. PNC at 9:30. WFC at 10. Citigroup at 11:30. So those are your conference calls for Friday. All right, so that's some of your earnings and conference calls. And we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at some of the larger stocks on the weeklies. And the first one up is Apple, and as you can see on the weekly, struggling to get back over the 20 SMA on the weekly chart here, but the lows here, you see buyers keep stepping up at the lows around 142.50 area for Apple. Next one up is Amgen on the weekly, and we'll go ahead and shift to a daily. So you see it couldn't get through this 175. It's pulling back to the 13 EMA. So this is going to have to be one that starts moving back up to keep the IBB moving up. Amazon holding the 50 SMA on the daily chart, but struggling to get back over the 10 SMA on the daily. AVGO was mentioned by Barron's, as I showed you from the news before, and this is back over the 50 SMA. We bounced off the 100 SMA on Broadcom. BABA, in consolidation here. You can go ahead and draw. And you see how important this 145 area is for BABA, Alibaba, and we are holding the 20 SMA. So this would have to break out back above, 145. I'll just take a quick look at a few banks. Bank of America, trying to get back over this 25 spot on Bank America. Next one up for biotechs. This one never has joined the party. Can't get back above the 200 SMA. We hit it here. We've hit it here, pulled back, and now we're just kind of languishing, chopping around here around the 100 SMA. Citigroup, looking strong, holding the 5 EMA on the daily chart here, and trying to maybe break out over these highs here. So Citigroup hanging in there, looking good. Celgene in consolidation, trying to get over this 134 spot, holding above the 10 SMA. The 50, the 100, and here's the 200. Maybe are slightly curling up on Celgene. Facebook, holding around this 50 SMA. We have buyers stepping up at the lows here of 148. So we'll see if we can hold above this 148 and continue back up on Facebook. Google, holding above the 100 SMA, holding this 900 spot, but it is below the 10 SMA, and the 20 SMA is rolling over and coming through the 50 SMA. So Google needs to, make a move here soon, or we might just go down to, this 880 area on Google. JP Morgan, who reports Friday, holding up, trying to get out and over this 94 spot. So we'll see with earnings coming out Friday if it can do that. KBH, one of the home builders, pulled back to the 10 SMA, held it, and now it's trying to break out over the highs here on KBH. LEN looking nice, trying to take out this 54 area after bouncing off the 50 SMA. Netflix held the 150 spot, this 150 SMA, excuse me, and we bounced, but we're still below the 10 SMA. The 20 curled through the 50, and so we'll see. This needs to start bouncing back, or else it may lose this 145 area. NVIDIA holding the 50 SMA, showing strength, trying to get back over the 10. If this can get back over 150, that's showing some real strength there on NVIDIA. What else was there? Shop. Not that this is a market leader, but might try to get through this 89, this 50 SMA, which is 89.24. To get through that, maybe the $90 area breaks, and we can get a push up on SHOP. What else? Tesla. Trying to hold the 100 SMA here. You see the doji candle came in, buyers came in. But if this breaks, this 310, 300 area, we could see a move down to the 150 SMA on Tesla. WFC trying to get over this 56 spot on the chart, holding above the 5 EMA. Holding this 100 SMA and the 150, so we have a lot of moving averages here, and so we'll see if this can continue up through 56. Ex-US steel, just not looking good at all. Gap down. We'll look at the weekly chart. It is, holding above this $20 spot, and but not really looking all that positive on the daily and weekly chart. It would probably have to get back over. Let me look at the daily on this X, back over, 22, 22.50 to maybe possibly, get back on track. So that's some of the stocks. Let me see if there was anything else. We'll look at some of the Dow stocks real fast. AXP holding above the 10 SMA. Boeing holding above the 10 SMA. CAT holding above the 10 SMA, so strength in those three stocks. Cisco is not looking good, weak. CVX oil name, keeps trying to hold this 103 area on CVX. So we'll see what they want to do with that. DD, DuPont holding above the 10 SMA. Disney showing weakness, but trying to hold this 300 SMA orange line right here, and trying to hold this 103 spot on Disney, but is below the 50 and whatnot. GE very weak, new lows on GE, even with Jeffrey Immelt out. The stock does not want to turn around as of yet. Goldman Sachs, actually one of the weaker ones, the laggard in the banking, still stuck below this 100 SMA. HD trying to hold this 100 SMA. IBM weak, but trying to hold 152, but nothing really much going on there. Intel battling with 33.50 on Intel, but not a pretty chart. J&J broke below the 10 SMA, trying to hold 132, but below the 20 SMA, so not so pretty anymore. JP Morgan, we showed you. Coca-Cola, below the 50 SMA. McDonald's, very strong McDonald's, pushing up, holding the 20, pushed up off of that. They just can't get enough of this stock after this big run up, slight pullback. They come in and buy again. They pull back to the 20, and they just cannot stop buying this McDonald's. And as you can see, it's up here at all-time highs on Mickey D's. MMM, go back to the daily, stuck below the 20 SMA. Merck, trying to hold this 200 SMA, held it here, and we're back at it again. So we'll see. Microsoft, trying to get over, $70 a share. They laid off some people last week. They was 3,000 or 4,000. Would need to get over that $70 mark. Nike had the big gap up on earnings, a lot of shorts. We're looking for it to go the other way, but now it's showing strength to pull back to the 5 EMA 57 area, and starting to push back up. So Nike looking strong. Pfizer not so good. Procter & Gamble not so good. So it's a mixed bag in the Dow stocks. 126 Travelers trying to hold that spot, but below the moving averages. UNH very strong, looking for that 190 break continuation, holding up very nicely. UTX defense stock trying to get up over recent highs, and that would be 123.15. So we would need to get over that 123 on UTX. Visa trying to hold around this 50 SMA spot on Visa. Verizon, new lows, not doing very well. Walmart battling with Amazon now. You know, so right now we're below the 10 SMA. Moving averages are moving down, so not much there. And lastly, this ExxonMobil, you know, buyers keep stepping up at around $80 a share. So if bears can't push this down, it may get pushed up on ExxonMobil. So that's your Dow stocks for the week, and I think you're pretty much set for the week ahead. This has been Zozo Stock Watch. You're more ready for the week ahead, July 10th through July 14th, than you were before. I hope you enjoy these videos. Please click the subscribe button for me. You can also retweet the videos if you like them out on social media. There will be another video coming out over the weekend for stocks to watch. This is your Saturday video. Let's get ready for the week ahead. And you are more ready for the week ahead than you were before. Have a great week, and look out for that next video, stocks to watch. Thank you very much for listening.